Did you know that a vision of dry bones led to one of the most significant messages of hope in the Bible? Before we dive into this incredible story of hope and restoration, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You'll find more inspiring content like this. Ezekiel's story of the Valley of Dry Bones is more than just a dramatic scene from the Bible. It is a powerful metaphor for renewal, resurrection, and God's promise to restore what seems lost. For anyone who has ever felt defeated, hopeless, or unsure if there's a way forward, this story offers a vivid reminder that even the driest and most lifeless situations can be transformed by God's power. Let's explore this incredible vision and what it means for us today. To truly understand the story, we must first look at its context. Ezekiel lived during one of the darkest times in Israel's history. In the 6th century BCE, the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, and exiled many Israelites to Babylon. For a people whose identity was deeply tied to their land, their temple, and their covenant with God, this was devastating. In exile, the Israelites were not just physically displaced, they were spiritually broken. They believed God had abandoned them, and they felt disconnected from His promises. Their sense of identity as God's chosen people seemed irreparably shattered. In this state of despair, they began to lose hope for the future. They asked themselves, would they ever return home? Could they still be God's people in a foreign land? Was their covenant with Him broken forever? These questions weighed heavily on their hearts, leaving them feeling like dry bones, lifeless, empty, and beyond revival. In the midst of this despair, God gave Ezekiel a powerful vision. He brought him to a valley, and what Ezekiel saw was shocking. The valley was filled with dry bones, scattered across the ground, bleached by the sun. There was no sign of life, just a vast, silent expanse of death and desolation. God asked Ezekiel a question. Son of man, can these bones live? It was a question that seemed impossible to answer. Bones, dry and lifeless, cannot live on their own. Yet Ezekiel, trusting in God's power, replied, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. God then gave Ezekiel a command. Prophesy to these bones and say to them, Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. As Ezekiel obeyed and began to speak, something incredible happened. The bones started to move. They came together, bone to bone, forming skeletons. Then tendons appeared, followed by flesh, until the bodies were fully formed. Still, there was no life in them. So God told Ezekiel to prophesy again, this time to the breath. Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, Son of man, and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, breath from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live. As Ezekiel spoke, the breath entered the bodies and they came to life, standing on their feet as a vast army. This moment of the transformation of dry bones into living, breathing people is the heart of the story. It is a dramatic and unforgettable demonstration of God's power to bring life where there was none. God explained to Ezekiel that the bones represented the people of Israel. Their despair and hopelessness had left them feeling dead, like those bones in the valley. But God's message was clear. My people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. This vision wasn't just about physical restoration. It was about spiritual renewal. God was promising to restore His people's identity, their hope, and their relationship with Him. Even though they felt cut off and forgotten, God had not abandoned them. He would breathe new life into them, just as He did with the dry bones. The story of the Valley of Dry Bones carries timeless lessons. It reminds us that no situation is beyond hope, and no life is too broken for God to restore. Whether it's a personal struggle, a broken relationship, or a community in crisis, God's power can bring renewal and transformation. What do you think about Ezekiel's vision and its message of hope and restoration? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, check out our next video, where we'll explore another powerful moment in the Bible.